Have you ever wondered why your brain seems to forget the information you need the most? Maybe it's an important appointment, someone's name, or where you left your keys, and suddenly it's just gone. But why does this happen? Is it a flaw in your brain, or does it have carefully calculated reasons for making you forget? In this video, you'll uncover the science behind memory and forgetting. We'll explore how your brain decides what to keep and what to discard, the role of sleep and emotions in this process, and why stress can completely scramble your memories. You'll also learn about the hippocampus, the brain's librarian, and how it organizes everything you experience, as well as why this system sometimes fails. So, if you've ever felt frustrated with your mind but want to understand how it truly works, and even how to improve your memory, stick around. What you're about to discover might change how you see every thought that crosses your mind. How the brain decides what to remember or forget. The brain is an incredible machine, but it has its limits. It can't remember everything, so it has to make choices about which memories to keep and which to let go. This process isn't random. It's like the brain has a priority system, selecting what's most relevant based on factors like frequency, emotional significance, and usefulness. If something isn't revisited or doesn't evoke strong emotions, there's a good chance it will be forgotten. A key player in this process is a hippocampus, a structure in the brain that acts like a librarian for memory. It processes the information we take in throughout the day and decides what gets stored long-term and what gets discarded. Repeated experiences, like your daily route home, or emotionally charged moments, like a memorable date, are more likely to be archived. On the other hand, trivial details, like what you had for breakfast last week, are usually eliminated. The brain also has a preference for patterns. It remembers information more effectively when it fits within a context or connects to something we already know. For example, you might forget the name of someone you just met but remember the name of someone who shares the same name as a childhood friend. This prioritization system helps the brain handle the massive amount of information we encounter daily. Interestingly, the brain also uses active forgetting as a way to protect mental health. Irrelevant or painful memories may be deliberately weakened, helping to avoid cognitive overload. However, this can lead to frustrating moments, like forgetting something important you were sure you'd remember, a deadline, for instance, or a key appointment. Attention is another critical factor. When we're distracted or multitasking, the brain struggles to encode information properly. This explains why you might forget what you were doing when you switch tasks. To solidify a memory, the brain needs focus and time to consolidate the information, something that doesn't always happen in our fast-paced lives. In the end, the brain does its best to balance efficiency and relevance. It doesn't keep everything but selects what it believes is most important for our survival and well-being. Yet this raises a question. What happens when the system fails? Could the hippocampus or our emotions play an even deeper role in the process of remembering and forgetting? The role of the hippocampus in storing and discarding memories. If memory were a library, the hippocampus would be the librarian, responsible for organizing, categorizing, and even discarding information. Located in the limbic system of the brain, the hippocampus is crucial for converting short-term memories into long-term ones. It receives fresh information from daily experiences and decides what deserves to be archived and what can be forgotten. Without it, our memories would be fragmented and fleeting, lacking continuity. The hippocampus operates based on specific criteria. Memories tied to strong emotions, such as a wedding day or a car accident, are more likely to be stored, thanks to its connection with the amygdala, which processes emotions. On the other hand, information that isn't revisited or reinforced is often discarded. This is why the hippocampus is particularly active during sleep, processing the day's experiences and determining what will be consolidated. Unfortunately, the hippocampus is also vulnerable. Conditions like chronic stress, anxiety, and depression can impair its functionality. High levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, directly affect the hippocampus, making it harder to form new memories and even causing forgetfulness. This explains why people under significant pressure often struggle to recall important details or recent events. A practical example of how the hippocampus works is when we're studying. Repeating or reviewing material strengthens synaptic connections in the hippocampus, making the memory more resistant to forgetting. Conversely, when we learn something superficially and never revisit it, the hippocampus treats it as irrelevant and allows it to fade. This is why study techniques like spaced repetition are so effective. The hippocampus, also plays a critical role in spatial memory. It helps us remember routes, recognize places, and even create mental maps. This explains why people with damage to this area struggle with navigation or even recalling where they left their keys. This spatial capability is so fundamental that it's also found in other animals, like rats and birds, which rely on it to locate food. Even though the hippocampus is essential, it doesn't work alone. It's part of a larger system involving the cerebral cortex and other brain regions. Together, they form a network that decides what to remember and what to forget. While this system is highly efficient, it's not perfect, as we'll see when exploring how stress can disrupt the memory process. Why stress affects our memory. Have you ever forgotten something important during a stressful moment? That happens because stress changes the brain's chemistry, directly impacting how memories are formed and retrieved. In high-pressure situations, the body releases large amounts of cortisol, the stress hormone. While small doses of cortisol help the brain work efficiently, elevated levels can harm key areas like the hippocampus, which is essential for memory. It's as if the brain prioritizes dealing with the immediate threat, pushing memories to the back burner. Interestingly, stress doesn't affect all memories equally. Information tied to the stressful moment, like details of an accident or a heated argument, can become overly vivid. This happens because the amygdala, which processes emotions, steps in to reinforce those memories. On the other hand, neutral or less emotional information, like where you left your wallet or what you planned to say in a meeting, tends to be forgotten. The impact of stress on memory also depends on how long the stress lasts. Short-term stress can actually enhance memory in some cases, as it boosts attention and focus. However, chronic stress has the opposite effect, impairing the brain's ability to form new synaptic connections. This can lead to frequent memory lapses and even increase the risk of conditions like depression and anxiety, which further worsen memory problems. A common example is the infamous mental blank many people experience during exams or important presentations. This happens because excess cortisol inhibits access to memories stored in the hippocampus. Even if you know the answer, stress makes it harder to retrieve it. Techniques like deep breathing and mindfulness can help lower cortisol levels and improve performance in high-stakes moments. Stress also affects sleep quality, which further damages memory. During sleep, especially in the REM phase, the brain organizes and consolidates information. When stress disrupts sleep or lowers its quality, this consolidation process is compromised, leading to increased forgetfulness. That's why getting a good night's sleep is essential for remembering what you've learned or experienced. While stress is unavoidable in many situations, understanding its effects on memory can help us find ways to minimize it. Practices like meditation, physical exercise, and maintaining a balanced diet can reduce cortisol's impact on the brain. The more control we have over stress, the better we can protect our memories. And when it comes to consolidating those memories, sleep plays an even greater role, as we'll explore next. The connection between sleep and the consolidation of important memories. Sleep isn't just a time for the body to rest. It's a critical period for the brain to organize and consolidate memories. During sleep, especially in the REM, rapid eye movement, phase and deep sleep stages, the brain revisits information learned throughout the day and decides what to store long-term. It's as if the brain performs a cleanup, discarding irrelevant details while strengthening important ones. Without this process, our memories become jumbled and fragmented. Research shows that different stages of sleep play distinct roles in memory consolidation. Deep sleep is essential for declarative memories, facts and information like what you learn in school. REM sleep, on the other hand, is more connected to emotional and creative memories. This explains why we often dream about everyday situations or even solve problems while we sleep. Sleep is literally the brain's time to reorganize the archive. A lack of sleep, however, severely disrupts this process. When we don't get enough rest, the hippocampus, which stores short-term memories, struggles to transfer information to the cerebral cortex, where long-term memories are kept. That's why, after a poor night's sleep, we often have trouble remembering simple things like names, dates, or daily plans. A practical example is what happens to students who pull all-nighters before exams. Even though they review material repeatedly, the lack of sleep prevents their brains from consolidating the information, making it harder to recall. Conversely, students who maintain a regular sleep schedule retain information better, even with fewer hours of study. This effect is so significant that experts recommend prioritizing sleep over cramming when preparing for tests. Beyond consolidating memories, sleep also plays a crucial role in clearing out brain toxins. During deep sleep, the brain's glymphatic system actively removes waste products, including proteins linked to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. In other words, good sleep not only protects short-term memory but also supports long-term brain health. Understanding the relationship between sleep and memory should make us rethink our nighttime habits. Establishing a consistent sleep routine, avoiding blue light from screens before bed, and creating a calm environment can significantly improve sleep quality and memory retention. Sleep is a cornerstone of memory, but emotions also play a vital role, as we'll explore next. The impact of emotions on what we remember. Emotions act as markers in the brain, determining which memories are more likely to stick. Emotionally charged moments, whether of happiness, sadness, or fear, activate the amygdala, a brain structure that regulates the emotional intensity of experiences. This explains why we vividly recall significant moments, like a personal achievement or a traumatic event, while forgetting routine tasks. In terms of memory, emotion gives a weight to a memory. When we experience strong emotions, the brain releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, which strengthens synaptic connections in the hippocampus. This mechanism is an evolutionary legacy. Our ancestors needed to remember dangerous situations to avoid them in the future. That's why a jump scare in a horror movie or a heated argument can become vivid memories. The brain interprets these experiences as potentially important for survival. However, emotions don't always help memory. Extremely intense emotions, like severe anxiety or panic, can inhibit the hippocampus, making it harder to form memories. This is often the case in traumatic situations, where the mind may block out details or even forget the event entirely as a protective mechanism. While this may seem like a flaw, it's the brain's way of preserving emotional balance. The emotional impact of a memory can also vary from person to person. Positive emotions, such as the joy of receiving a compliment or having a great time, tend to create longer-lasting memories because they activate the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine. Conversely, negative memories may feel more intense for individuals with anxiety or depression, as their brains often revisit these experiences. This cycle can be disrupted through therapy or practices like mindfulness. Emotions also play a role in creating collective memories. Shared emotional events, such as weddings, concerts, or national tragedies, often become deeply ingrained in a group's memory. These moments create such a strong emotional impact that they become part of a larger narrative, reinforcing social bonds. For instance, many people can recall exactly where they were and what they were doing during major events, like a World Cup victory or a historic news announcement. Understanding how emotions shape our memories can help us harness this process more effectively, creating emotionally engaging moments while learning, associating information with enjoyable experiences, or even turning mundane tasks into something more exciting can enhance memory retention. After all, our brain isn't just a data storage machine. It's driven by the emotions that make each memory unique. Human memory is an incredible tool, but it's also full of nuances. Understanding how the brain decides what to remember and what to forget helps us realize that memory lapses aren't always failures. They're often strategies to optimize our minds. But what about you? What's the last important thing you forgot? Was it due to a lack of attention, stress, or simply because your brain decided it wasn't that relevant? Share your experience in the comments. Let's swap stories and reflections about how our memory surprises us, for better or worse. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming content on the brain and the human mind. See you in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the amazing mysteries that make us who we are. Until then,